over there.
Bro, making me sad. Making me sad.
Alright. Alright. We're into picks and fans here. The Vikings immediately taking out Azir and Nico. Well, BFX is gone after Mbessa and Wukong. Remember that Mbessa, a potential flex into the jungle. We've already seen it in this tournament. So,
Yeah.
you know, not too surprising to see these champions taken off the board.
No, I mean, a lot of this is just taking the top power away from not specifically any of these people so far. When we've been seeing bans up against BFX, we've usually seen quite a lot of mid lane bans trying to push VicLa onto the edges of his champion pools just a little bit more. Haven't seen this so far, so be interesting to see what else he decides to pull out. Obviously, it's going to be the Vikings having that first pick available to them, and we've been seeing a ton of just early top lane slams, but no, in this situation, gonna get Gury his best in class right here on the Jarvan. Super strong pickup. I think VicLa taking the Orianna makes a lot of sense. You don't want to give that combo over, and it's also been one of his most stable champions in the mid lane.
Remember that this is a best of 3 series, and you know, you mentioned that about VicLa. I'd like to see VicLa push the envelope in this series a little bit. I mean, you know, this is a guy who has really had a lack of pressure in the mid lane, at least domestically. And you know, they had either put him on real big comfort champions, or you know, just these control mages, these utility picks that are coming through, and that's when the team started looking a lot better. I'd like to see him at least try a couple games of like, I'm gonna be the guy, I'm gonna play an assassin or something like that, just to show that he can do that sort of thing, at least internationally, we'll call it. As we've had a lot of picks come in since then. Yunara, Braum, we've got Kiana, and now BFX gonna lock in Rakan as their...
Okay, yeah, the Kiana, very interesting, going for quite an aggressive look right here for Raptor, and you're also, again, leaving your ADC pick until a little bit later, as we've been talking about, right, Diable is the big part of BFX, and whatever he gets to play, he usually is able to completely take over a game, but you are pushing him quite far back down in the running order for when he's able to grab himself that champion, and, I mean, he's got a massive champion pool. Him running out of champions is not the concern, but in terms of his best pairings, his best pickups, be interested to see what's taken off the board. Do the Vikings perhaps think that they need to take away that Xayah? It's not been a massive Diable pick, but also the pairing alongside Rakan is just so strong.
Yeah, it is something that he has played quite a bit. It's one of his top 5 played AD carries, but obviously there are other options that I'm sure he'd like a little bit more. Kai'Sa, Lucian come to mind as a guy who's like really hyper aggressive. I don't think the Kai'Sa would be particularly good here, and even the Lucian, right? I don't think it pairs well with the Rakan, just a champion that is not the strongest in lane. I do
the
wonder
as well, just
yeah, exactly. I don't think we're gonna see the Diable Kellin 2v2 kills, the 2v2 prowess like we've normally seen, but hey, I'd love to be wrong, because if you can manage to get 2v2 kills on a Braum as a Rakan, that's really impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. Still, Cutty is also another player that's going to have to be picking pretty soon, and he's had a really interesting champion pool. He's played a ton of just the big tanky things in the mid lane. He had himself a Sion game the other day as well, so whatever he decides to take into this Orianna is going to have a relatively easy laning phase, right? Orianna really doesn't bully the majority of people around. This has been hovering on the edges. People have been thinking about taking this one recently. I'd be surprised taking it blind right here, but I guess at that point they're thinking that Kratos doesn't have anything into you, doesn't have a specific pocket pick in mind.
Are we gonna lock this in, or are we gonna lock in something safe? Alright, we're gonna lock in something safe.
Boo.
We're gonna go pick up a Jhin here for Diable. I mean, no surprise, right? You've got this Kiana. You know, you want to put a bunch of utility around her. Orianna kind of serves as like utility and a little bit of damage. This Jhin is going to be mostly utility, and if you know you happen to get to the late game, those 4th shots are going to hurt, provided they're not blocked by a Braum shield.
Yeah, that's true. The Braum shield is going to be pretty big in this one. We'll see how much he's able to really use it. I do agree. I think that the Samira would have been far more fun. Still, it's going to be a Hui pickup, and I've got to be honest with you, Yanni. I'm really liking what it is that the Vikings have put together for themselves so far. I think if they can round this out with a top laner that can go brawl, that can get itself aggressive, something like the Udyr, this is really nice.
Is this an Udyr top? Are we sure? Are we positive that this is Udyr top?
I think it's more likely than the Jarvan. Could this be
lane Jarvan? Could this be top lane Jarvan?
It could be lane Jarvan.
I would love to see lane
surprised.
Jarvan. Let's see what Clear wants here, because Clear has to be aware that something could potentially be amiss here.
I mean, there's a chance, right? I've seen...
Why not? You just slam Renekton, it's easy.
Every game's a Renekton game. Doesn't matter what your opponents pick right here.
If you try hard enough.
That's true. That's true. Hey, I really like this from the Vikings. I think in terms of compositions, this really works together incredibly well. Anybody caught in the Cataclysm is just going to get annihilated by the Hui. That makes it very easy to land a lot of that. You've got the long-range CC that the Hui can provide. The Brom gives you that little bit of back push as well whenever BFX are jumping at you to say, no, 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 we're going to stop you dead in your tracks. The 2v2 lane in the bot lane can also be potentially explosive if you want to go and get involved there as Gury. I really like what the Vikings have drafted.
Yeah, and not only that, the Jarvan ultimate, the Cataclysm with the interaction of the Supreme Display of Talent. Sometimes, you know, you happen to make this Kiana ultimate go in a very small circle as opposed to a very wide area depending on where you're at. You know, if the timing is right, the timing is there. It's something that you don't... It's not like, oh, yes, this will happen all the time, but it's something that's like, hey, that's pretty good.
It can happen. It can happen, and this is all you really need is a couple of chances right here. Vikings have shown us that they can compete, that they can be really impressive. Like you said, it was unfortunate circumstances that meant they weren't able to potentially pick up that win versus NIP. To be fair, NIP have been having a bit of an odd tournament for themselves anyway, so who knows what the true outcome would have been.
Have a bit of an odd year for themselves, to be honest.
They have been. It's been a little bit weird, but still, this is a Viking squad that have shown to be dangerous, and I really like the draft. For BFX, it's still fine, right? You've got yourself a ton of lanes that you can try to pressure around. I think Raptor's put a lot on his shoulders, though, on the Kiana to say, hey, you need to step up, you need to be getting the damage down. Otherwise, if you're just fully relying on your Jhin or Orianna to be the damage that can rip through a Jarvan, that can rip through an Udyr, I'm not so certain that that's going to be able to work out.
We saw a couple of moments ago in the background, the players loading into game and on Summoner's Rift and hopefully not watching any VODs or anything like that. And that means we're just about ready to hop into game one of this best of 3 series between BNK FEARX and Vikings Esports. Let's do it.
Let's go. We're so used to pausing at this point for some gyos.
For gyos. Yeah, wait a minute. Okay, we're going to do the gyos. All right. Vikings!
Gyo!
Vikings!
Gyo!
All right, Bloxxer. You can go.
BFX!
Gyo!
BFX!
Gyo!
There we go. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Neither of these teams play in the LPL.
No, absolutely not. But it's true.
There's a cheer for the LCK teams. I actually do not remember. I learned it while I was at MSI, but I honestly cannot remember at this point. No. Because that's been months ago, and like, you know, I try not to think about MSI
for us.
Because
that's also
thinking
fair.
about MSI makes me sad because I miss it so much. As
MSI was
we're doing
pretty
the swap
cool.
now. All right. Here's what I love about the swap. You know how easy to execute the swap is as long as your jungler listens to you and starts on the bottom side of the map instead of the top side of the map?
Yep.
It's so easy. Yep. Me and my friend, me and my team, the Hard Stuck Casterlow squad, were getting ready to play a match in one of our independent leagues that we play in. You know, one of these little, you know, YMCA leagues, I like to call them, because we're all like Emerald Plat. And you know, while the servers were unstable that day and we may have given away the strategy, it was unprompted in champ select. I said, yo, Slayer, go top side, and we'll have our jungler start bottom to top.
Yep.
And we'll make things all good. I had Grapes down in the bottom lane with me. We were playing Scion Leona. Like, it was a good swap.
This is the way that you got to play it out. It's particularly good for champions like the Yunara, where you're just trying to chill. You're just trying to have yourself a nice free laning time. The only difference in this situation is that, you've got a couple extra people making their way up very early on. This is quite early to send the whole house up towards the top side of the map. We'll see where the push comes through, because like you said, it is going to be that bottom to top push from Gury, but you're now not so much in a situation where you can potentially go for a gank. You're looking, if anything, for a dive here, which I'd be surprised if they full commit to.
Keep in mind, in future patches, you wouldn't be able to be up there at 3 minutes if you're a support. You have to wait till the 4-minute mark, or else you will be detected lane swapping and sent straight to jail.
They are just going to keep pushing that timer through.
Instantly die.
Yeah.
I mean, now they're going to, in the off season, I remember earlier in the year, they said, hey, we're going to table this for like after the competitive season's over. and we're going to go back and really take a holistic look at lane swaps. I hope they're still going to do that, because I still think that while it is, you know, for a viewing experience at times, not the greatest thing ever, I do think that lane swaps do have their place in the game. I think they are very important for certain strategies, and I'd like to see them viable, but not always like the best thing that you could do. What do you think?
I think it's also interesting because we watched a lot of very badly done lane swaps at the start of the year. It wasn't a free pass. It wasn't a, you know, pass, go, collect 200 every single game. Lots of teams, lots of good teams at the start of the year were very bad at it. I mean, we, the whole year, were talking about how awesome Thunder Talk were and how awesome they potentially could be because they were sick at lane swaps. It is another skill. It's another big coaching point. I think it extra emphasized coaching for a lot of these teams and seeing who's able to execute these strategies. Like you said, the lane swap as we see it right now works if your jungler starts on the bottom side of the map, but we've still seen tons of junglers start top side and then their bot laner just dies twice during the early laning phase. In fact, BFX had this happen to them versus NIP. So it's still something interesting. It is a skill.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, NIP were particularly good at the swaps. Remember, you know, you mentioned Thunder Talk, but NIP, really the darlings of Split 1.
Yeah.
Because of that strategy, it worked so well for them. I mean, it was really nice to see. And I mean, like, looking back, even though it's obviously like, oh, these teams ended up being not so great, it was very nice to be like, there was something that these teams were like particularly great at in 2025. And sure, it was in the beginning of the year, and you'd rather all the good stuff happen at the end of the year, just because you know it's a better feeling. But you know, we should not forget about the world where Thunder Talk and NIP were competitive teams in the LPL.
It was fun being able to take a roster that maybe overall can't compete anywhere near as well and turn it into something that can be fun, that can be interesting, that can win games is always great. Kellin, does he have another dash?
All right. He's not going to get knocked up. Gury elected not to burn the flash. No. So Kellin will be forced out. The good news is, you know, Grubs aren't up for another 2 minutes, so you'll have opportunities to reclaim the river if you really want to. Dragon up on the bottom side. It's an ocean dragon. Is Shulong getting forced away, but will be able to muscle his way back in if he really wants to.
So far, things have been relatively chill, but I feel like Gury again trying to get involved.
It's flash time, Gury. Come on, buddy.
Now you go.
All right, well, Clear is walking all the way up here. Clear,
never mind.
Side to overstay. I mean, Raptor is here very late. Kellin's going to fall too. How about Vikings getting the first 2 kills of the game?
Really nice right there. Gury has been trying to get aggressive throughout the entirety of this early game. They're driving one of the best early ganking junglers you can possibly have. But that was made very easy by Clear, just kind of over-pushing forwards. Now Diable's going to be walked on by Kratos. This is going to force a teleport down bottom side to give some support.
All right, Diable in a lot of trouble. Kellin trying to get to his buddy. The barrier got burnt. Kratos is level 6, so it might be actually hard. Now he's level 7. It's going to be really hard to try to actually take this guy down here. That 4th shot doing some damage. Diable flashing away as the 2v2 Kings trying to win a 2v1 right now. Diable's going to open up right now with Curtain Call. Only going to be able to slow up Kratos here. This man is certainly looking like the God of War.
Oh yeah, he is fighting right here. Raptor also going to be drafted in to try to help out. Curry is in the area if they want to pull somebody else in.
He went unstoppable, but Kratos got stuck up against the wall here. He gets rooted and he's taken down. Raptor able to get the kill, but he's got to flash away. And here comes the teleport with that Cataclysm. He hops out for now, but Shulong joins the party, immediately knocked up. Oh, the Blind Winter's Bite is going to find a 3rd kill in the feat of warfare for the Vikings.
Okay, there we go. We said in the draft that we liked what the Vikings have put together, but I'm really liking the execution for them so far. Kratos was just in an absolute brawl. That fight lasted almost 2 full minutes, and in the end, it is going to pick up a couple of extra kills. The only kill going down was to Raptor, though. That is still getting this critical Kiana a kill, getting her onto the board. But overall, Vikings, they've been playing this one out great.
Yep, a really, really nice start for them. They're looking quite good, Bloxxer, in a game that obviously we were unsure how the teams were going to look coming out, what kind of picks we were going to see. It's nice to see Kadi on his most played champion because it is a champion you don't often see. BFX are going to take this opportunity now because they're back on the map first to go and start up these grubs. Shulong getting rooted up and just stuffed by Kellin, so this should be a pretty easy grubs take for BFX.
Yeah, BFX, they have had just really good objective control. That's been one of their best parts throughout the entirety of this international tournament so far. Just making sure that enemy junglers are not allowed to step up to objectives. Now, Shogun, you do not want to walk into that bush still. It might just turn into a dive.
Well, Shogun is completely stuck on an island here. My goodness, they brought the house, but
oh no!
lives Shogun with the shields. The unbreakable shields. Keeping his AD carry alive with a bit of summoner usage there as well.
Actually, one auto attack from anybody. Even Kellin would have been able to pick that one up. And so he's going to lose out onto a decent amount of XP right here. This wave should be pushed underneath the tower pretty quickly by Diable. So it does still punish the Vikings ADC, but you're very happy to not give that extra gold on over to BFX.
Without a doubt, and you know, whenever a play like that fails, you kind of have to wonder. It's like, what do we actually have to do here, right? And I think this means that you're gonna have to start getting VicLa around. Let's take a look at this replay. I mean, like, Shogun is just dead to rights here. Yep. He transcends himself. There's flashes, burnt, and everything, but the knock-up getting missed by Kellin.
That's it.
Living on a sliver, and the bouncing grenade getting blocked. So huge.
Yeah, really, really nice right there from Zulong to be able to stop that kill from going down, but still, Kellin has to do better. Kellin has had a really good season for himself. You don't win Rookie of the Split as an ADC without your support helping you out a ton, and Kellin's been looking nice, but that grand entrance just about missing completely ruins that play. No, not indeed.
A mediocre entrance. Kellin getting attacked by the dragon, just kiting him out, having a good time. Is the 2v2
top lane
will now be a heads-up 2v2 finally. Is Clear and Kratos going to go at it a little bit here. We do see Raptor recalling. Doesn't look like Raptor actually wants a part of this fight at all.
Every single time Kratos stepped up, Raptor was cancelling his base, thinking about it, but Clear at this point doesn't have that dominance available to him, so it would have been a pretty tough ask, especially because Kratos can just block that first bit of CC and walk it on off, so it would have been a little bit of a tough ask. Still, it does now leave Clear in a pretty rough time. Yeah, he's just taken a huge chunk.
All right, Clear is going to pop the Dominus, but I don't think this is actually going to do anything. Sure, it's going to take a large chunk out of Kratos, but I don't think he's really overly worried. As Vikings going to go start up this dragon just after 11 minutes, a bit of a late first dragon, but a first dragon nonetheless going over to the Vikings.
Yeah, indeed. It's also going to be that first item completed for both of these junglers, so these two are going to be online, going to be in a pretty good spot. Overall, though, you've got to be happy as Gury, right? Immediately getting towards your Sundero means that you can just fight, you can get involved into the backline very easily at this point. It's a lot of extra survivability, a lot of extra damage built into the Jarvan now, and it means that already, after a very proactive early game, getting involved in every single kill so far, he can definitely look to up the tempo even more.
And remember that Orianna and Jhin aren't going to have huge early game damage, so unless this Renekton is around, I mean, you really need to get the jump on Gury if you're FEARX in order for him to actually die quickly, right? And I think that they need to be able to do something like that in order to kind of get this game back into their hands because, I mean, right now, Kadi and Shogun, you know, piloting some champions that they've played quite a bit. Obviously, Shogun ahead on this Yunara by a little bit. They're still very weak champions at this point of the game, even though Shogun's picked up his first item, right? Like, now is the time where you kind of leverage the utility that the Jhin and the Orianna bring you to be able to start putting these guys in the dirt.
You've just got to push yourself forward a little bit more right here. But also, BFX have been very good at having a little bit of a rougher time during the early game, but pulling it back, being able to win through some excellent team fighting, Diable weaving his way through a lot of those. And I've got to be honest, as much as we've been talking about VicLa as the kind of weak link here on this BFX roster, at least in their most recent game up against the Ninjas in Pajamas, they looked way better. VicLa was actually able to completely take over that game. He had himself a really nice Orianna performance as well in that first game, so you don't have to worry too much, but yes, you're absolutely right. This is the time for BFX to try to up the tempo just a little bit.
VicLa learning from his time in NA, he's got a gun, the Luden's companion in his back pocket. I mean, you know, I like seeing it because it's just, I love damage Orianna.
Oh, yeah.
The boots, they make sense, right? I'm not going to try to clown on his choice of going Ionian boots, but, man, whenever you go full damage first item, it always feels bad when you don't have the Sorcerer shoes, but VicLa will have a larger amount of damage. Shogun is looking for the 1v1, turned into a 2v1, almost a 3v1, but Gury fails his flag and drag. Looking like me out there.
Oh, yeah, not ideal to miss that one. The second that you hit that flag and drag flash, you would have immediately been able to pick up that kill. Instead, it's just going to be Diable still underneath this tower, gets exhausted, doesn't care, able to pick himself up this entire wave, including getting the cannon minion. Well played from Diable to get away from that one, but still, misplay from the Vikings, and this is the sort of stuff that can just creep in, right? There's a reason that this is not going to be your top seed right here. Oh boy, Vikings. They've had such a good early game, and already things are just a bit wrong there.
Yeah, again, the good news is they do have the scaling component, right? So anytime that they try to make a play, even if they're not like pushing their gold lead ahead, as long as they're not losing out on these plays and on the losing end and dying and losing objectives or turrets, it's fine. But it just does mean that if you're burning resources like that, it opens the door for FEARX to be able to turn some things around. You're seeing VicLa run into melee range here, but he's just that confident in his damage. Is Raptor going to get knocked up and quickly find himself cut off? He drops his ultimate down. Big fear coming up with a double knockup from Kellin, trying to keep Raptor alive. Clears on the backside. Now everybody's stuck in the pit, and there's a very large, very angry Renekton. Clear trying to survive. Here comes the curtain call over the top, but he almost hits Raptor with a shot. Big shockwave coming down from VicLa to be able to find two members. Kratos, that teleport in, means there will be no further fighting. This being a 2-for-1 in favor of FEARX.
Really well played there from Clear. He was in amongst everybody, but with Dominus popped, was able to keep himself alive for so long. Only Raptor goes down, but is still able to pick up that kill just before he does die. And that's just well played out of BFX. Still, because of all of the damage done, because of all of the abilities and ultimates used, nobody was actually able to step up and go to start up the Rift Herald. So it looks like Gury is going to try and re-engage onto that one. We'll have a look back at how this play starts, because it's all Vikings trying to begin this play up really nice at the initial bit of stun coming through. And this just means that Clear is able to move his way on in. I mean, this is why you pick up the Kiana, right? Lots of damage, obviously, but that ulti is just so good to start off these big fights.
Yeah, and see VicLa coming in. Nice shockwave hitting two members. Shulong doing what he can to try to keep his carries alive for a continued fight. But what was really a big thing in that fight that we didn't really see is Kati threw his fear out, and Kellin had come in immediately trying to, you know, cover for Raptor and then use the quickness. He got immediately feared, so he was not able to charm Gury and Shulong right away.
If he's able to just instantly jump in, pop the quickness, and just go over the top of everybody, that's a one fight for BFX completely, and they're able to grab themselves the Rift Herald. As he highlighted brilliantly, though, instead it is going to be Gury able to pick up that Rift, so we'll see what he's able to do with it. Still, all of those outer towers are remaining on the map, as BFX grab themselves their second Drake of the game, and even things up to 1 apiece.
Well, it looks like we're not going to see any dragon stacking, although good on BFX for picking it up very shortly after its spawn. We'll see the next one in just about 5 minutes here. Now we're in the side laning phase of the game while we wait for Otacon to come up in about 3 minutes. Remember that Gury has a Herald in his back pocket. Doubt we'll see him use this leverage for Dragon. Is already seeing their, hey, we would just want this top lane turret. We're going to send everybody up top here. VicLa's caught. He has no summoners. Kellin at least going to try to get himself out. The shockwave is going to hit 3. And VicLa will be able to save his support.
But look at what's happening on the rest of the map, right? Diable is pushing through onto the mid lane. There's also going to be a big push onto the tier 2 tower down on the bottom side of the map from Clear. So you are missing out onto quite a lot for what turns out to be just 1 kill. At least you get the teleport in to stop that being a play onto the mid lane tower and actually going down, and the tower top lane is picked up. So overall, in the end, it is going to be about 1,000 gold lead or so at this point for the Vikings. Clear, though, going to even things up. 700 gold into his pocket. This Renekton is incredibly scary right now, Yanni.
While I agree with that, so is Shogun, right?
Yes.
Now he's on 2 items. They funneled that turret into him. He's up about 2,000 gold on Diable, who has been the best player on FEARX for the entire year, we'll say. Now, I mean, Shogun's a guy who has also been a big highlight for Vikings throughout the season, and he's got a lot of tools around him to keep him safe.
Yeah, he really does. This is the sort of composition where you are very happy, very comfortable as a Yunara, especially with the Brom, right? And so far, Zulong have been brilliant on this champion too. A little bit of a Barney in the mid lane, potentially. Diable, again, taking a decent chunk off of his health bar, but nothing too much going to come of it at this point. Flash is available to Diable, although he did just have to use the barrier, so potentially that could be impactful as, like you said, we're getting pretty close to having that Atakan join us on the Rift.
Well, the question is, will we actually see any action around it immediately? Not entirely sure, although we do have FEARX up on the top side a minute early, clearing out some of this vision. We also see Xiulong and Gury showing up to control the river and clear out the vision that FEARX is trying to put down. They're just not strong enough right now. Raptor, while he's 2-2-1 and has 2 items, I mean, if he goes in solo, it's death, right?
Yeah.
Kellin is just so squishy that, you know, he could immediately take a large chunk of damage and be out of a fight. It's really tough for FEARX to actually fight over these chunks.
This is why having so much gold in Clear's pocket is so important. He's up by about 1,000 compared to Kratos right now. And this Crocodile being able to be strong into the backline is going to be critical for BFX's chances of playing this one out. He's not going to be able to solo kill onto the Udyr. That's just not how this matchup goes. But the fact he's got that advantage right now, once he gets that second item into inventory, this Renekton into the backline, that's how you start these fights. That's how you make sure that they go your favor.
All right, well, they might try to find Kratos here. Clear shows up with little HP, but it says, "Hi, Raptor's in my back pocket." Now, you do see Kratos actually flash away, and
he's so fast.
He's trying to do the Udyr thing of leading them on a wild goose chase. Rift Herald going to come in and get a crash in the mid lane. That'll be more gold for Vikings, as Diable is kind of stuck. He's taking a whole lot of damage. No root onto Shogun, as he's going to open up with the Jhin ultimate, but elect... Oh, no, I think it was Rift Herald that canceled it.
Yeah, I think so. I think he just got immediately bopped back out of that one. I mean, that's a little bit of a mistake right there from Diable. Still, the fact he steps up to dodge away from things, doesn't even use the flash to get out. Very ballsy plays so far from him, but working out for him at this point is going to get back out onto the Rift with full health. Atakan is available on the top side of the map. We've got less than a minute, though, until the next Drake is going to spawn. And a Mountain Drake, I think, for either of these teams could be huge. That little bit of extra shield from a Mountain Soul, that could be the difference maker with these big bursty builds.
And not only that, if you claim a soul, you're going to be getting 3 of those. So you're just going to get the extra armor and MR on top of it. We'll see if we actually get to that point in the game. I mean, if you're at that point in the game, I think Vikings are very, very happy.
Oh, yeah, they are fully
that their comp had been fully executed to the best of their ability. And, you know, so far, while the gold is even 21 minutes in the game, that's what you want in this scenario. FEARX were unable to get an early lead and were unable to really, you know, they found their foothold to even up the gold, but haven't found anything more than that at this point in the game.
They haven't been able to push the pace of this game forwards anymore. I think, again, part of that is because you don't really have that just full power from a lot of these different champions at this point in the game. Even if you get outscaled, you're still looking for those 2 items, really, for your Qiyana to be doing damage, for your Jhin to be able to really step up. You do now have 2 completed onto VicLa and Raptor, so they are in a strong spot. Clear, got to be very close to having his. The next reset should grab him that second item as well. Mountain Drake is being pinged towards BFX. They've got a little bit of a faster move towards it at the moment. Raptor looks like has just started that one up. And currently, with Gury moving up towards the top side, it looks like there's going to be no contest here from the Vikings.
We'll see what's going to go on if FEARX are going to be able to get up to this Otacon right now. It looks like they're on their way. Teleport coming through here is Kadi looking to join the party. Kratos has his teleport available as well, as FEARX are in hot pursuit here, as the Otacon not going down super fast. It's about 6,000 HP, and now we're starting to see teleports come in. Clear showing up. Kratos is going to land. What's going to happen with the spike? Big knockup to keep Raptor out, but big shockwave on the back line.
Whoa!
Knockups abound. The wombo combo is there, and that's FEARX's fight to win. Kadi doing a whole lot on the back line with that Spiraling Despair, though, to make sure that FEARX can't get much more, but it's Diable on the 80 carry flank, looking to put this one away, as Raptor is super low, but knows that he has to help out his 80 carry, and is able to do so. The ultimate coming through. He's got the supreme display of talent 2 fights in a row. That Axiom is arcing.
There you go. That's a huge one right there for BFX. We're asking them to get things a little bit higher pace. They're going to be able to grab themselves the Drake, sprint straight up through the river, and grab that fight. Look at all the towers falling as well. This game has been blasted wide open.
And you know what, Bloxxer? Perhaps Perhaps Godguo is just a liar.
It's possible. It's possible. He was trying to give hope to the Vikings, make them think, hey, maybe, you know, we can step up, we can grab ourselves a victory here. But BFX, it looks like they have attempted to slam that door shut. I love an ADC flank. I think ADC flank's one of the funniest things you can ever see, especially with a Jhin. Not usually a champion you're expecting. Exactly. And it was close. It took Raptor flying on in with the supreme display of talent again to make that play fully work out. But hey, now you've got yourself so much from this play.
And Clear says, Balmy Blazer will make a play.
Gorgeous,
Shockwave, and then supreme display of talent hits 1, 2, 3, 4 people. Good lord. At least Kadi on the backside here had big damage. That spiraling despair plus everything. That's the thing about Hui. You throw stuff on the ground, and, you know, if it's in the middle of a fight, realistically, you're not going to be able to avoid it.
No, there's absolutely no way to get away from it all, but still, the fact that the supreme display of talent's up is second time. Oh, hang on. Jumping out into what could potentially be another fight. BFX bullying the Vikings out from their own jungle here.
And what's really crazy is that Diable is level 15 to Shogun's level 14 after they picked up Otacon Vikings.
Yeah.
So that's not exactly where you want to be. As Diable getting engaged on here, but a good charm on Gury. Shockwave going to come down as well as they're looking to take him out. The Cataclysm isn't actually going to find anybody you're looking for. And now the flank is coming through. Shogun, though, going so deep looking for more. But he's going to have a nice sidestep, but unfortunately be completely on the backside, sold out to get 1 kill and lost his life for it.
Unfortunately, that's now going to be 3 deaths here for the Vikings, and it's going to be a turn quickly over on towards the Baron. This isn't even a particularly faster Baron take, but there's nobody available now from the Vikings to try to stop this from going down. 15 seconds until Gury is up, and BFX, they're already in control of this game, but this is what they're going to need to try to crack open the Vikings base right here. Resets as well going to be coming through. 3rd item's going to be completed, and yeah, we talked about it, right? Vikings, they've got themselves that late game scaling. There was a moment there where you thought maybe Shogun could pop off. You know, he had a good early game. 3 items already completed on this Yunara, but it just isn't enough. He doesn't have the front line to try to play around.
Yeah, this fight is just really broken to begin with, right? Just because Clear and Raptor on the side, I mean, instantly blowing up Kratos already makes this hard. And, you know, Shogun just decides here after the shockwave that, like, hey, you know, we have to go all the way in. Big knock up to disrupt him for a moment. And
oh,
you gotta go for it.
Actually just cages his Braum and no one else in that situation. Like, yeah. A Shogun, there's nothing you can do. You need to have all of your friends around you, that bit in front of you, so that you can weave your way through a fight as a Yunara, and that just didn't happen. Like you said, BFX did well to just crack the fight open immediately and make sure there was no way to step back up. We've now got 30 seconds until the next Drake is going to be available. It will be sole point here for BFX if they can grab it, and I don't really know as the Vikings whether or not you even want to super step up right now, or if you want to just try to scrape together another 10 minutes of this game, hopefully, and get enough items onto these main carries that there's no way BFX can win fights.
I mean, I think if you're Gury, right, because you're playing Jarvan, you can just go and try and steal it. Just go solo, right?
Yeah,
I think if you die with all the wave clear that you have coming up from Kadi, and if Shogun's given some space, you shouldn't lose the game, even with FEARX having Baron, but doesn't look like they're going to have the opportunity to even get there. So we'll be waiting for 5 more minutes, 5 more minutes of scaling for the Vikings to see if they can find a way back into this game.
You see, Kratos, he is still going to be stronger than Clear for the most part in these 1v1s, although Clear does obviously still have the Dominus. Does he want to turn this back around?
He's got a BF sword in his inventory, too, by the way. We have fighting in the mid lane here. So Raptor's able to flash away. Kellin caught going down as it's being a 1-for-1 for right now, but VicLa with a big shockwave landing onto 2. Sorry, a 2-for-1 in favor of Vikings as Diable had gone.
Yeah, this is nice, and especially at any point when you've got a Hui on the board, if you're sat on low health, you've got to be very, very careful to not get too close. The top laners continue their brawl the entire time we were watching the mid lane. Nice of them to pause for us. Kati and Shogun, though, looking to arrive and stop this from just being a straight-up 1v1.
Kratos flashing forward. Kratos, are you biting off a bit more than you could chew? Massive shielding. Clear's just got to kind of delay as best he can, but he quickly finds himself in a 4v1, trying to sidestep everything he can. But he can't sidestep auto attacks. Or maybe you can. Hold on. Okay, Clear will finally fall.
Hey, they bought a lot of time there, though. I mean, look what happened bot lane. Whilst all of that is going down, VicLa's able to grab himself the bot lane tower, finally crack open the base of the Vikings. But still, you're able to fight back decently well here as the Vikings grab yourself a couple of kills. And we'll have a look back at what started this playoff mid lane. We were too busy watching the top laners brawl. Flag, drag, cataclysm from Gury, and yeah, what more can you do when you then just get annihilated by a Huya?
You cry. Unfortunately, that's just kind of how it works sometimes. I mean, Huya, one of those champions with absurdly long range, has a lot of damage in his kit inherently. As you can see, Godguo, he's still firmly in the Vikings.
Yeah.
He believes. He says, "Skull, baby." That's
So
an
you think
NFL
so?
joke for those who might not be inclined.
I feel like you've disappointed everybody in your life for having said that, right?
Why?
You can't be saying nice things about the Vikings. You can't be calling
I'm
them
not
their
saying
chumps.
anything nice about the Minnesota Vikings. I don't care about the Minnesota Vikings. I'm an Eagles fan, dude. We live rent-free in their head after what we did to them.
That's fair. Vikings have a lot of people rent-free in their heads.
True. Go Birds.
Boo.
Siege is still on here. VicLa is incredibly dangerous. I mean, he didn't do that much damage to Kratos there. Kratos has a lot of HP and
Yeah.
not a lot of MR. That is a lot of damage technically. I mean, if you manage to find a QW combo onto Kadi or Shogun, I mean, they're going to be missing like half their HP. You know, I want to talk about something. I'm very sad they're nerfing Orianna. I understand it was a long time coming.
Yeah.
This champion's W is just like way too powerful of an ability. But it makes me sad because she's one of my favorite champions. And
I love it.
my excuse has always been she's strong because ball control is difficult.
That's true. That's true. It is. Oh, hang on, Gury.
All right, well, he was able to
Fancy
kind
feet.
of buffer that and
Okay.
was able to flash out. So Gury is alive for right now. And this
Yep.
dragon is going to be up in less than 2 minutes, and he will be flashless, which could be quite relevant.
Yeah, you really do want to have that flash flag and drag up and available as BFX looking to just take up space in this mid lane once again. Decent push going on in the bottom side as well for clear, so they've got full control around the bottom side of this map. Kratos just pushing through the top lane right now, no contest onto him, but you know, there's nothing too much up there that you're really worried about at the moment. BFX, they just keep buying themselves more space. I mean, look at the vision right now, Yanni. There's basically none. There's one in the tri-brush down and bottom side. Other than that, Vikings' bot side of the map is completely dark.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to try to snag this dragon in about a minute, and once this Mountain Soul comes through for FEARX, I think it's going to be largely impossible for the Vikings to actually find any kills or anything like that, as strong as Shogun is. He's on 4 items, he's 6-2-2, he's had a great game for himself, but unfortunately I just don't know if this is the one. I do wonder if FEARX will elect to trade objectives here. So they did have a look at that Baron. Big flank coming through from clear. That goes back to the lack of vision. This ward will get cleared out. So they're going to try to turn onto him, but there's no damage.
Nope, he's absolutely fine to just walk on away from there. Like I said, you can totally potentially just trade this one back and forth if you want to. Giving over a second Mountain Drake not going to be the end of the world. Still, it is Soul. If you can grab it, you'd love to have both.
Clear, engaged on by Gury. Just trying to shove him off the best he can, buy as much space. As the Vikings looking to take control of this river, potentially. Big damage coming out from Shulong. There's the taunt, the shockwave on top of it. Big plays coming out. And Raptor over on the side trying to deal with Kadi. Kadi is forced completely out. Shulong out of the fight. Kratos rooted up, and he will fall. Is a 3 for nothing for FEARX. Will they go to the dragon, or will they elect to end the game?
Yeah, I mean, they can just kind of push on forwards right here. I don't think they're going to be able to fully finish this game off. Kadi obviously has a ton of wave clear here on the way. Instead, it should just be a pickup of this mid lane tier 2 tower, and then you can grab both of these big objectives. Why decide to trade them back and forth when instead you can just win yourself a fight and grab both? And that was beautiful right there of Kellin. Great little engage from him to be able to grab everybody in, be that ball delivery system as well, and just completely win the fight for BFX.
Vikings, they checked one ball delivery system. They said, hey, they can't put the ball on clear. Everything's fine. You forgot about Kellin. And Kellin's going to be able to always get back there without a Huya Fear coming through to try to stop him. that should be the final nail in the coffin for this game one. It's all over but the crying. Let's have a look at this replay, Bloxxer.
And this engage right here out of Kellin, he's flash straight into the quickness. It's immediately flashed away from, but the stun's already on the way there. You're already going to be able to pick that one up, and beautiful shockwave as well. I think VicLa's been looking pretty good on this Orianna. Yeah, he's not exactly the strongest player on this team, but at least when he's given a couple of champions, he's very comfortable piloting, able to make it work right here. Good timing on that one. Now with the Mountain Salt in inventory and your Baron buff, the second one of the game, there should be curtains right here for the Vikings. What can they do to mount a defense?
I'm going to be honest, Bloxxer, I'm not sure. You've got Kadi wave clear, and you're really hoping that FEARX steps up a little bit too far. It's a little too big for their britches. You're able to get multiple kills and maybe give yourself a chance for an Elder in 5 minutes, but I'm not sure if that's really going to happen. You already have an inhibitor exposed on the bottom side. These minions are doing a number on this turret, and while it's not down, it's certainly starting to weaken.
Absolutely, and I mean, it's rough because you've got yourself a 4.5 item Yunara right now. This is a champion who has gotten online, but just hasn't had the fights.
This would have to be your fight, but look at the backline. Curtain Call coming out. Kellin did get marked and will fall, but the Supreme Display of Talent stuns up Gury. He's going to go down. Kratos not going to get caught by that shockwave. It is a triple kill for Diable. I do wonder if they'll try to get him that fourth kill and maybe extend the timer. VicLa flashing forward says, guys, go get that fourth kill. It will not matter. The turrets will go down. Nexus exposed, and FEARX are just having a good time trying to stack up these KDAs and not die to the fountain lasers. Diable literally steps on the stairs and does not die. That's crazy.
Yeah, he's chilling right here. And it is going to be a BFX win in the end, so Goglo was lying to us earlier when he said he thought the Vikings were going to go in, giving them a little bit of extra motivation, potentially trying to help them out, but unfortunately the loss streak does continue here for the Vikings.
Godgo either tells the correct result or is a liar. No, keep that in mind. Godgo is never wrong.
Never. He couldn't be. Have you seen that little face on him? That is a man that knows what's up. That is a grasshopper that knows the truth.
I have not. I have not seen his face, nor am I really trying to, like, look at his face. I mean, like, you know, no offense to Godgo or anything.
You don't want to see the truth?
No, I'm cool with being blind to the truth for it.
I was hopeful there. I was really hopeful there for the Vikings. As we were highlighting about, 15, 16 minutes into this game, it was keep it close. In fact, it was keep it close well over 22 minutes into this game. Exactly what you want to do with this later game scaling composition. But unfortunately, Clear on some of these flanks, Kellin as well, was just finding those engage angles. Raptor seemed to get at least 2 Supreme Display of Talents off every single fight. And VicLa and Diable, they were doing their jobs. They were pumping the damage through. It was well played overall from BFX, but they weren't able to pull ahead early on, which we thought was going to be a problem. They were clearly just fine with what was happening.
No doubt at all, Bloxxer. Now we got to start talking about player of the game. There was a lot of pieces for BFX that kind of fell into place that would, you know, give an MVP to multiple players. I think that top side fight where Otacon had gone down was probably the one. Yeah. I think Raptor had a huge hand in that, but it does feel weird giving him the potential MVP shout over a couple other members. What do you think?
I think I'd be giving it towards Clear. I think Raptor is a good shout, but I think Clear just had himself that level of performance. I think Kellin totally could have been in for having an MVP level performance if it wasn't for that mid entrance that he had up on the top side of the map on that initial dive. So, you know, a couple of things back and forth. I'd give it to Clear personally, but I mean, this was kind of a complete team win once they decided they wanted to go fighting.
Yeah, I mean, this was a comp that we knew was going to be a little bit stronger, going to have a bit better of a team fight. It was just a matter of if they were ever going to be able to really put the game back in their hands, get another or get a lead for the first time. And this is where it happened, right? Unfortunately, just not enough damage on that Otacon. That Otacon took a little while to do, to the point where they were able to take the dragon and walk all the way up, and while they did not secure it, secured the fight win. And that's when you knew that everything was probably over.
At that point, it felt like you were just waiting on maybe Shogun being able to pop off, because he was really strong. He was up by 3 items pretty quickly into this game on a Yunara pick with a lot of champions around it to try to give him some extra help, but it just didn't end up happening in a lot of these situations, and was an unfortunate game to watch for the Vikings. When they win, it's because they're able to get Shogun ahead. They're able to pop off in that way. It was such a good early game as well. If we're giving out an LVP, sorry, not LVP, loser's most valuable player, not least valuable player.
I was like, damn.
I mean, hey,
that's harsh.
My bad. Misspoken. I think Gury had a great time. He was able to really sort of push the envelope for us during the early stages of the game. Yeah, it kind of fell off later on, but he was a lot of the reason that they were ahead, that the Vikings were able to put themselves in a spot where we thought they had a chance in this game.
And to the defense of Gury, they drafted Yunara and Hui for a Jarvan. You don't have a lot of damage to really follow that up. Right,
yeah,
like
absolutely.
You can't get, at least Hui will be able to give you priority or kind of, go even in the Orianna lane in terms of, okay, the lane state and everything like that, and allow you to kind of move around. But, it's not giving a strong mid jungle duo, right? Which is, the most important 2 roles on the map in the early game.
Exactly. You've not given this Jarvan someone to go play ball with across the rest of the map, not in the same way that it feels like you usually have alongside the Jarvan, so it was definitely rough. Yes, not LVP, most valuable player on the loser side, I think, was Gury. I'm still pretty solid, I think, on my MVP of this game, being up in the top side of the map. I was really impressed by the way Clear was able to play this one.
All right, who do we got as our MVP? It is going to be VicLa. And you know what? Those shockwaves were good. Was he benefited by great ball delivery systems? Yes. Potentially.
Yes. But hey, it's a team game. It's not an individual.
It's not like it's undeserved.
Right, no. And hey, we watched a lot of Scout this year. We watched a lot of Scout missing shockwaves on good ball delivery systems. Hey, it is still something that can be tough. And for a player that has overall not had himself the best year, I think, it's really nice to see him be able to step up and pop off. And yeah, it was a really nice Orianna game.
I did not know where you were going to go with this when you said, we've seen a lot of Scout this year. But, all right.
Never good.
I was like, all right, where's he going? I don't really want to talk about this man, because it's been rough going for him, but at least it's been rough for VicLa, but maybe able to end the year on a bit of a high note. And before we go ahead to a break, a couple of announcements. Number 1, if you'd like to support the LPL English, consider becoming a Coffee member. Coffee is the best way to support the LPL English project because the vast majority of your contributions will go directly into the show. A lot of the initial payments go into upgrading the broadcast, but a large bulk of it pays on-air talent and our content creators. If you subscribe to our Coffee, which will be linked in the chat, you can unlock perks like early access to content, the ability to ask interview questions for our unique on-site interviews. Number 2, we are celebrating a birthday today over on the LPL English side. Happy birthday to one of our fearless leaders, Ulk Battery, color caster extraordinaire, overall great person. We really deeply and truly hope that you enjoy your day, even though it's really just started. Hopefully you've got a great 24 hours of birthday time, my friend. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, man.
With that, that'll be all for us for right now. We're going to go ahead and do a short break. When we return, it'll be Game 2 between FEARX and Vikings Esports. Don't go anywhere.